Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wedding Ceremony Podcast. We talk about anything and everything that has to do with wedding ceremonies. This is episode number 328, recorded on February the 11th of 2025. My name is Clint Hupton. With me, as you can see for the very first time, JP Reynolds.
Lint, very exciting.
We should probably let the audience in that it's always been audio only forever. Then we just kind of decided, well, why not? Why not do video? Apparently, a lot of people like to watch people talk, and who are we to deny them that pleasure? So
That's right.
that's what we're doing right now. You should know that JP is an accomplished author. He's got books. Look at that. Revised and expanded of what? Which one is that?
This is the how to officiate a non-denominational wedding ceremony.
And they can find that in the Amazon store and in Kindle, right?
Amazon. You can get it Kindle or it can be a paperback.
And also, he is an officiant, which makes sense because we're going to talk about wedding ceremonies. JPRweddings.com is that website. He's also a communications expert. Thebusinessofconfidence.com is that website. For all the things that I do, you can just go to my name, Clint Huft, HUFFT.com. That also is where you're going to be able to send us an email or contact us, and we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode. JP, do you know what a cold sparkler is?
Oh, wow. I know. My devious mind is going in so many different directions right now, but no, Clint, I'm just going to sit here and have you tell me. A
Well, okay,
cold
a
sparkler.
cold sparkler. Apparently, you can stand next to. Okay, so it's a little canister that sits on the ground. They probably can put them anywhere they want, but they sits on the ground, and then at the appropriate time, somebody pushes a button, and it shoots up sparklers like your Fourth of July sparklers, with just a bunch of stuff like silver coming up into the air, and it goes about 8 feet, maybe 8 or 9 feet up into the air. Can you visualize that?
Is it shooting up like sparkling confetti or
No, no, no,
the
no, no,
the
no, no. It's a firework. It's a cold firework. It's a cold. Well, they call it
so it
cold
can't
sparkler.
cause it can't cause damage.
That's what I was told, but that is not what I wanted to test. So here's the deal. This couple is an older couple. They were both getting married. Well, they've been married before. So they found each other. They fell in love. They're going to get married at a private club that's downtown Los Angeles. And it's pretty interesting the way it was set up. There's two terraces that are exposed to the air. It was on a Saturday, so you could see the downtown. We're in the middle of all the
Mhm.
downtown big buildings and all that stuff. It was pretty spectacular. My first thought was it's December and it's probably going to be really cold. But no, it was amazing. One terrace was for the ceremony. Then they would go inside to the foyer for the cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. They'd come out on the second terrace for the meal. And both of those were
Oh,
completely covered. They were open on the side so you could still see the view, but they were completely covered. And inside the tent, they were filled with heaters. And because of the tent, it pushed the heat down, even though it was high 50s, which in Southern California, I know people in Minnesota are laughing at me right now, but in Southern California, that's like a chill. That's like, ooh, I better bundle up. Anyway, it was completely comfortable. I was totally amazed. All right, so on the platform or the what do I call it? The terrace where the ceremony was going to be. There was about maybe 120 people, typical
mhm.
setup with a center aisle, that sort of thing. And they had a little flower arch, but they had six of these, three on each side of these boxes. The idea that the bride wanted was that when they kissed, these sparklers were going to shoot up fireworks straight up as like a backdrop to the two of them kissing. I love the
Wow.
idea. I thought it was fantastic. However, they
Nice.
had a wedding party, four people on each side. I didn't want these people next to the sparklers. I didn't think that was a wise idea. And I kept talking to the event planner. I said, okay, no, run this by me again. What's going to happen? Well, okay, when do the ceremony. And then I said, and the wedding party is going to be, they're going to be up there. They didn't have a rehearsal. They just kind of told everybody where they were going to go. So now that falls now to me. The way I think is my job is to what could possibly go wrong and see if we can fix it before it happens.
Right.
I don't know. I want the connection
Right.
between the couple to be rock solid, and I don't want anything to get in the way. But I also think, in regards to the guests and what they're experiencing, I mean, a wedding ceremony, from a certain standpoint, is like theater. You know what I mean? There's something going on. There's a
Oh,
bunch of people watching.
yes.
if fireworks go off near the wedding party, even though they're safe, I think the guests are like, "Oh my gosh, they're going to catch on," and they're completely disconnected from the romance of the moment. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Now, you see, my thought would have been they would have been fascinated a la Disneyland with the sparklers and
Yes,
missed the kiss.
I completely understand that. But
Yeah,
when the bride wants a thing, then
because
we do everything we can.
yeah, I'll do almost anything I can. Uh, but yes, I now have visions of like Tinkerbell appearing and hovering over the couple as they kiss, hitting them
That
with a
would have been
magic wand.
that would have been awesome. Yeah, and Tinkerbell could take so many different shapes and sizes. So, uh,
All right.
okay, so here's the thing. I looked at it, I
Uh-huh.
cased the joint. I'm thinking, and I think to myself, I think it would be wiser for everybody, or right before they kiss, if I just have the wedding party on both sides just back up to clear the visuals and not be near a sparkler.
Right.
So that's
Right.
I went to them. I went to them beforehand and I said, "Hi, I'm me, and just so you know, there are going to be sparklers that are going to be shooting up, and I would rather you guys weren't near them for a couple of different reasons." And they all looked at me and said, "You mean fireworks like right next to us?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, that doesn't sound good to me either." I said, "Great, so here's what we're going to do." And I said, "Just come with me real quickly before the guests got there." I said, "You guys are going to line up here. There's a little X where the front people are going to be." I said, "I'm going to look at you, and all you have to do is just backpedal about 6 feet. Just clear the area, go straight back. Don't worry about it. And I'm Captain Obvious, I'll tell you." And that's what we did. And everything went flawlessly. They backed up, fireworks went off while they were kissing. And of course, we get out of the picture when they kiss. I cleared completely all the way over to, as you look at the front, the right side. I went all the way over
Mhm.
there to completely clear the frame, and the sparklers went off. I always think that the photographer really needs that photo. So I always just off screen, I tell them to kiss again. I just say, kiss them again. They really were soaking up the kiss. And as it were, I don't know if that's the right verb, but
You serve these items to me on a silver platter. My mind is just racing all over the place. I tell a couple that I make it very simple. I say to them, "You're going to kiss until I tell you to stop," and they
really,
believe me. I don't do that, but it's like, but I do say to them, I say, I'm going to say, now you may kiss, and you kiss until I tell you to stop. And they
see,
like,
now
and usually they're like, so, and it's like, it's like, yeah, nah, JK, just kidding.
I,
But
I
now
just think of this.
this,
I just think of this. I go, okay, ready, and
yeah,
go.
could we do that again? This time with a little more energy. Okay. Uh, don't worry about grandma. That's okay.
Well, there are some couples that just peck each other at the kiss because they're really worried about social proprieties and
Well,
stuff like that.
the whole cultural standards, and or if you're New York Irish and you just give pecks throughout your married life. But
Oh,
um,
that's a subject for another conversation.
that's a whole with my therapist, But now let me ask you.
Yeah.
This is interesting. At the end of the ceremony, all right. So you're either giving them a blessing or you're concluding it somehow. And I always say, in terms of how we end the ceremony, we can end it either I send you forth with our love into the world to live out your lives, or I send you forth into the world to live out your lives with our love and asking God to bless you. So I always say it's either G word or no G word. But prior to offering that blessing, I have everybody stand. Do you have all of the guests stand?
No, I don't. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. What's your
I
thinking behind
because
having them stand?
again, my background having been a Catholic priest, at the end of the mass, everybody stands for the final
Okay.
blessing.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of in my DNA. And also you stood for when the bride walked down the aisle. And so it's just a sense of, all right, we're bringing closure to this. So I always say to everybody, please stand. So in that situation with the bridal party, if I have any last minute concerns, I would have said to them, all right, when I ask everybody to stand, that's your cue to move back
Right.
I give the blessing. Now, I also do it a little differently. I pronounce and present them at the same time. Yeah, so I do. My final words are, and now by the power vested in me, it is my honor to pronounce as and present for the first time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. John Doe.
Oh, wow. So they kiss before that, and then you do the whole thing.
I get no, no, no. I give the blessing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I give the blessing, and then I say, now by the power vested in me, to pronounce and present Mr. and
Right.
Mrs. John and Judy Doe.
Yeah.
Now you may kiss, and they kiss, and everybody applauds and strike up the music, and then they're done. I step out of frame.
So you always end on the kiss.
Yes, yes,
Oh, we've never talked about this before. That's so fascinating.
yeah, I
Yeah.
yeah. So rather than I pronounce your husband and wife, now you may kiss, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, blah blah blah. No, I combine it all together so that when I say now you may kiss, I step out of frame. I am done. I just start heading to the valet.
So as they're kissing, you're reaching for your valet ticket.
That's where's my ticket. Jimmy, I need a sticker for this.
Oh, that's right. Well, also, I like that you always say "go forth." I've never used that
I
language.
do. Yes, I do. I mightily avoid the majority of cliches. There are a couple of things that I like, and that sense of go forth into the world, and it's just that sense of all right. There's movement.
No, I like it. It's there's something about that language that's very, romantic and classic and that sort of thing.
Right.
In regards to the
Right.
cliches, do you say you may now kiss your bride, or how do you get them to
Right.
kiss?
Now I always say, now you may kiss. Because it's older language, now you may kiss your bride, but it could also be now you may kiss your groom. Unless if it's a vow renewal or if the couple has taken care of the paperwork and they are legally married and now this
Right,
is the public celebration and ceremony, I
right.
say, now you may continue to kiss.
Well, are you assuming that they haven't kissed until the wedding day, all things considered?
Well.
I make it a question. I don't know. It just seems interesting to me
Oh,
where we get to that
it's
point.
okay. So you ask if they want the question. If
Well,
you ask if they want, now you may kiss.
it's one of those things with a twinkle in my eye. So that sort of a thing. I want that. I
Right.
want that really cool feeling of it makes it a little bit more intimate for me. I do. Would you like to kiss? Something like that. And then I
Oh,
say,
at
please,
the end of
please do. Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah.
ceremony.
Yes, exactly.
I
We get to
see.
that point, and we get to
Right.
the point where I now pronounce. I love that you do both things at the same time, and then they
Yeah.
kiss, and that's the celebration. Depending upon what they want to do, this particular couple with the sparklers, they wanted to end at the kiss. I always give them the option, the couple of, do you want to kiss? And then I'll formally introduce you as Mr. and Mrs. or husband and wife, whatever you want. I would say 80% of the time they choose that, so they don't end on the kiss, which I always have to make sure that whoever's playing the music, they know that. That's a big thing to come up and I'll actually say, when they kiss,
Right.
don't play. I'm going to turn around,
Right.
introduce him as Mr. and Mrs., and that's your cue. I think that's really, really
Right.
clear. Even though I say that, this gets back to the wedding party where you might have just said your cue is when I ask everybody to stand up at the end for the kiss. That's your cue to move out of the way. And you and I both know that the retention level for people involved in a wedding is about that
Oh,
similar
yeah.
to a gnat.
Right.
They just
Yes.
they don't
Yes.
so I have to make
Right.
it. That's why I say I'm Captain Obvious. I
Right.
look at him and say, back up now,
Right.
or
Right.
or
Right.
give her
Right.
back her bouquet,
Well, and that is so true. And that's why once is not enough for anything. It's nice that you have a poster that says, please, no phones, a phone-free ceremony.
people
But I
don't pay
said,
attention to that.
nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. It's like you're at the airport, it's a TSA announcement, and nobody cares. And I typically will make the no phones announcement.
Right.
Because as the officiant, we have more, people will pay more attention to us
I
than
agree.
to a DJ.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing you said a long time ago that I started to incorporate is that I walk off of the altar, so to speak, and go
Right.
closer to the guests in the aisle. I don't go into the
Right.
middle of the aisle, but I am like in front of
Right.
the front row. It just seems like there's more gravity to the importance of the moment. Plus, I don't want that to influence the vibe of the ceremony itself, which I got from you, which I thought
Exactly.
was great.
Right.
Yeah. Let's recap. So what you do is you cram together the declaration and the introduction, and you put that together, which I love,
Correct.
and they
Right.
go forth, and then
Right.
you have them kiss, and you say,
Right.
"You may now kiss." Yeah, and what
Right.
I do is I'll say, "Would you like to kiss your bride?" Or I'll look at the two of them and say, "Would you like to kiss?"
Right.
And then I'll say, "Please do." And then I grab the mic and
Right.
get out of the way. Yeah,
You, as I clutch my heart, I love the subtle nonverbal here. I look at these people, and my belief is in a ceremony, I've said this before, I say this all the time. Every couple needs to wear name tags. They have no idea where they are, no idea who this other person is, no idea. I mean, it's the whole thing when
yeah.
when I give them the rings, it's like, oh, I feel badly. I don't have anything for you. Thank you. All right. It's like, so the idea of that saying to them, would you like to kiss? It's like saying, would you like dessert? All right. What would you like for dessert? I salute you for asking them any kind of a question. Yeah.
All they hear is the word "kiss" because they're staring at
Right.
each other,
Right.
if it's a
And
bride
then
and a
they
groom,
just dive
the
in.
groom is
They
just
just, yeah.
trembling. You know what I mean? He's like, and then the fact that he then expresses his urgency, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just part of the whole vibe. The other
Right.
thing that I love is that I remember in a previous conversation you talked about when you talk to the groom about the rings, you walk him through it, prior to the ceremony, and you say,
Yeah.
"I'm going to give you this thing. You're not going to know what it is, and you're not going to know what it's for. And I'm going to tell you what to do. You're not going to know what I'm saying. You get
Right. Right. And they're very appreciative of my honesty. They feel better about it. Yeah.
Well, the other thing, and we were talking about this in a previous episode. I mean, one of the last two episodes about how is it that we give the impression that the couple knows us really well, we know them, and we have this
Yes.
relationship. Part of the situation, I think, is all of the prep work on the day of to give them a sense of, if possible, to help them calm down because they know we're going to take care of them because we go detail by
Right.
detail before the ceremony, not from the standpoint, I think to myself, don't worry, I'm just planting seeds. I don't expect you to remember everything, but I just want you to know this is what's going to happen. And I'm right there and I will completely take care of you. The feedback that I get whenever I say, thank you very much, it was an honor to be your officiant or whatever I say, then the feedback that I get is you helped us calm down. And I think it's because you just tell them what to do, and now they have faith in you that you're going to take care of them. That I think
It
is
is,
really powerful.
it's the greatest compliment I can get when a couple says something along the lines of, wow, you made me feel so comfortable.
Absolutely,
You know,
because
I had been so worried. I felt like it was the three of us. And I would say, in terms of procedure, I had my first meeting with them. And I always say to them, the purpose of this meeting is for me to get you thinking about the ceremony in ways that you may not have thought about before. Whether
right.
you go with me or someone else, I'm going to email you everything we talk about, resources, whatever. And I tell them it's like a doctor's office. I have a series of questions. No matter how odd the question, it's based in past experience. So, like one of the questions I ask is, do you have anybody who wants to sing dancers in Cirque du Soleil? And they look at me. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, that's so good.
We just have a 98-year-old grandmother in a wheelchair. It's an electric wheelchair.
Oh, the 98-year-old belly dancer.
Because I
That
one time
that I
had
would pay to see.
with cold sparklers. I one time had the bride's sister was a singer in Cirque du Soleil.
Really?
I haven't been to Cirque du Soleil in a long time, but when my nieces were younger, I would go with them. Almost every edition of Cirque du Soleil
Right.
has this atmospheric singer who helps to bridge between different acts. And
Right.
this bride's sister was a singer in Cirque du Soleil. She didn't do any acrobatics or anything. She was a singer. And she sang at the ceremony. I was disappointed, and I shared that with the couple, that there was like nobody else from Cirque du Soleil performing. I mean, come on. She must be friends with at least one trapeze artist.
Yes. How else to deliver the rings? But with
I
some
said to the guy,
flipping. You got to have some
okay, well,
flipping.
how to deliver the ring? I then had another bride whose cousin, and this is why I asked, do you have anyone who wants to sing, dance, or is in Cirque du Soleil? Another bride, and I mentioned this a long time ago, the bride's cousin presented the rings while doing a belly dance with a sword balanced on her head.
I remember that.
Yes. I always mention that to a couple because every time I meet with a couple, there's a little part of my heart that thinks maybe today
There'll
we
be a
can
Cirque du
top
Soleil.
the belly dancer. And I say to the couple, I say, I'm disappointed, but we can still continue to talk. So, but here's the thing. I digress. All of this means in my first conversation with them, I guide the conversation so that by the end of 45 minutes to an hour, we have a very clear understanding what this can look like.
Right.
And then I remind them that I'm with them throughout the process. They can give a shout out at any time. A month, 2 months before the ceremony, to circle back conversation. Let's confirm, review, fine tune. And I think you do this also. I arrive a full hour before invite time. Part of that is here in Southern California, traffic, you just never know. And I would rather be massively early and can relax than stuck on a freeway thinking, oh my God, am I going to get there in time? Having us arrive an hour ahead of time means that we are physically and mentally relaxed. We're not rushing in, we're not breathless. And that non-verbally conveys to them, I'm here, we're going to have a wedding, all's good. And then we just go about our checklist of photographer, music, videographer, event planner, mic check, the whole pre-ceremony checklist, so that reassuring a couple is that if we are physically comfortable and know that everybody is where they need to be, that we've reduced the element of surprise. We have not eliminated the element of surprise, God knows, but we've reduced it. And that goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And plus, they watch us talk to anybody that's going to be participating in the ceremony. They see us making sure that everybody is comfortable. I tell them that during the initial meeting. I say, I'm not Mr. Bossy Pants, but I just go to everybody that's going to be participating and make sure that they know what's going to happen and what you want, and just make sure everybody's comfortable. The first thing I say to your photographer is, I have no rules, because you and I both know there are some officiants that can get a little uppity. I say, I have no rules, but I want to make sure they understand what you want so they can be in the right place at the right time. Because the couple watches us go through all of that with everybody, then that also, I think, gives them a sense of comfort that not only are they, because it seemed to me that everybody wants the couple to be happy, but the couple really wants everybody else to be happy. And so the most important people to them who are participating in the ceremony, the couple watches us go through that process with those people as well, which I think adds to that sense of confidence and comfort.
The reason why I'm happy, and the reason why I'm laughing, I'll just say this quickly and then you can wrap up. You've used the word happy. Because we are rebooting Wedding Ceremony Podcast, let us hold hands and remind everybody of what my mother used to say.
Oh, yes. Yay. Okay.
No happy occasion is happy until somebody is miserable. And with that, I'm done this week.
There you go. Absolutely.
Happy Valentine's Day.
JP, tell everybody how they get in touch with you.
My email address is jp@jprweddings.
And remember, he's also a communications expert. Thebusinessofconfidence.com is that website. And hold up your book one more time.
One more time.
Yeah, you can get the books in Amazon, Kindle. You can contact me. Just go to my website, ClintHuft, HUFFT.com. That's it for this episode of the Wedding Ceremony Podcast. This is Clint, and on behalf of JP, we will see you next time.